In 1975, one company in Kansas was so powerful that 70% of an entire town worked for it. They were the 9th largest equipment manufacturer in America. They'd invented machines that changed how the whole world harvests food. And then their own founder got a phone call telling him the company he built from nothing, from literally digging abandoned machines out of dirt as a 14-year-old kid, now belonged to Italy. Not a handshake, not a thank you, just gone. This is the most important American company you've never heard of. A business born from Kansas dust, built into a global powerhouse, and then swallowed whole by a chain of corporate takeovers, so quiet that most of America never noticed. And here's the twist that'll make you stick around. Hesston didn't just make tractors. They accidentally invented one of the longest-running collectible traditions in the American West, and it's still going 50 years later. Stay with me, this one gets wild. Let's rewind to the 1930s. The Great Depression has the entire country on its knees, and in central Kansas, it's worse. This is Dust Bowl country. The topsoil has literally blown away. Farms are abandoned, machinery sits rusting under mounds of dirt, and there's this kid, 14 years old. His name is Lyle Yost. While other teenagers are, doing whatever teenagers did in 1927, Lyle is driving his family's pickup truck across the Kansas prairie, looking for little mounds in the dirt. Not gold, not treasure, he's hunting for buried farm equipment. See, when the dust storms buried the fields, they buried everything else too. Plows, hay rakes, planters, all of it swallowed by the earth. Lyle would find a mound, start digging, and pull out a piece of machinery. He'd haul it home, and he and his father would either strip it for parts or rebuild it and sell it. And right there, in the middle of the worst ecological disaster in American history, a future empire starts taking shape in the mind of a teenager. But here's what's important. Lyle wasn't just learning how to fix machines, he was talking to farmers, every single one of them, listening to their problems, writing mental notes about what was slow, what was dangerous, what was just plain stupid about the way farming worked. His daughter, decades later, would say, "The idea of Hesston Corporation was planted when Dad was a teenager. He didn't know the direction yet, but he knew he had a calling to help farmers." Now remember that. That calling, it's about to change harvesting forever. Fast forward to 1947. The war is over. Lyle Yost is now a grown man running custom harvesting crews across Kansas. And every single day, he's watching the same infuriating problem. Here's how combines worked back then. The machine would cut wheat and collect it in a built-in bin. But when that bin was full, the combine had to stop, dead stop. A truck pulled up alongside, and the grain slowly dribbled out by gravity. In a good rain year, you might spend more time unloading than actually harvesting. Lyle is watching his combine sit idle, watching storm clouds build on the horizon, watching time and money drain away. And one day during a race against an incoming July storm, he snaps. He goes to a local welder. Together they fabricate something nobody had ever built before, a mechanical unloading auger. It bolts onto the side of the combine and uses a spinning screw mechanism to shoot grain into a truck while the combine keeps moving. Think about that. Before Lyle's invention, every single combine in the world had to stop to unload. After it, they never stopped again. Farmers saw it and went absolutely berserk. Orders flooded in. Lyle hired a handful of local guys to fabricate augers in the off-season. And just like that, almost by accident, Hesston Manufacturing Company was born. But here's the gut punch. Within a few years, every major combine manufacturer just copied it. Built their own augers, John Deere, International Harvester, Case, they all incorporated the design. Lyle Yost had invented one of the most important harvesting innovations of the 20th century, and the big boys just took the idea and ran. A lesser man would have quit. Lyle decided to go bigger. Now this is where Hesston goes from scrappy Kansas startup to wait, how big are these guys? By the mid-1950s, Lyle and his team buy the design rights to something called a hay windrower from an Iowa farmer who'd been tinkering with his own machine. The idea was wild. What if one self-propelled machine could mow hay, crush the stems to speed drying, and lay it all into neat windrows, all in a single pass? Before this, making hay required 3 separate machines and 3 separate trips across the field. Mow, rake, windrow, each one a different implement, a different day, a different chance for rain to ruin your crop. Hesston took that Iowa farmer's prototype, moved production to Kansas, redesigned it, scaled it up, and called it the Hesston Model 100, the first commercially available self-propelled windrower. Farmers didn't just like it, they were obsessed with it. The swather changed the economics of hay production across the entire Great Plains, South Dakota, North Dakota, Nebraska, Colorado. Any state where hay was a major crop, the Hesston swather became the machine you had to have. The local school district in Hesston, Kansas, even adopted the swather as their official mascot. I'm not making that up. To this day, Hesston high school teams are called the Swathers. And Lyle wasn't done. Not even close. The 1960s and 70s are where Hesston Corporation goes full throttle. In 1966, the company rebrands from Hesston Manufacturing to Hesston Corporation. In 1968, they go public on the stock exchange. Money is flowing. The workforce is exploding. And Lyle's team keeps attacking the same question: how do we make hay faster? In 1970, they released the stack hand. If the swather was a hit, the stack hand was a phenomenon. It was the first commercially available loose hay stacker. The machine would pick up mowed hay, compress it, and form it into massive 6-ton bread loaf stacks, 8 feet wide, 20 feet long, 11 feet tall, in the middle of the field. No baling, no twine, no back-breaking manual labor stacking hay in a barn. The stack hand did it all. And to complete the system, Hesston built the stack mover to transport the stacks and the stack feeder to break them apart at feeding time. Farmers who'd spent their entire lives sweating in hay barns were suddenly doing the same work in a fraction of the time. The stack hand didn't just sell well, it put Hesston on the map nationally. By the mid-1970s, Hesston Corporation was the 9th largest farm equipment manufacturer in the United States and the #1 manufacturer of haying equipment in the entire country. Over 2,500 workers, factories humming, revenue climbing, and in a town of roughly 3,000 people, over 70% of residents worked for the Corp. Let that sink in, 70%. The company wasn't just the biggest employer, it was the economy, it was the identity, it was the heartbeat. But every empire has a peak. And what comes next? Nobody saw it coming. Before we get to the fall, I need to tell you about the strangest, most accidental success story in Hesston's entire history, because it has nothing to do with hay. In 1974, Hesston's advertising team hatched a plan. Rodeo fans, they figured, were the exact same people who bought hay equipment. So they approached the Professional Rodeo Cowboys Association about sponsoring the National Finals rodeo broadcast. They got the rights. Hesston became the sole advertiser on the full 2-hour NFR telecast, beaming into homes across Oklahoma, Kansas, Texas, and Nebraska. To promote the event, they commissioned a simple brass belt buckle stamped with the Hesston logo. 15,000 were made and given away as promotional items to customers who watched the broadcast and filled out a questionnaire at their local dealer. Nobody thought much of it. But something strange happened. People didn't just wear them, they collected them. Demand was so intense that in 1975, Hesston made 50,000 buckles, and they sold out. A year after that, the numbers climbed higher and higher. What started as a throwaway marketing gimmick became the most collected belt buckle series in the history of the American West. 50 years later, new Hesston NFR buckles are still being produced. The 1974 original? Most of those 15,000 are gone now. The ones that survived are genuine collector's items. An equipment company from tiny Hesston, Kansas, accidentally created a cultural artifact that outlived the company itself. That's poetic. But it's also a little sad when you understand what happened next. 1976. The American farm economy falls off a cliff. And it doesn't just stumble, it plummets into a decade-long trough that will gut rural America. Farmers stop buying new equipment. They repair the old stuff. They make do. Dealer lots across the country fill up with shiny machines that nobody's coming to get. For Hesston Corporation, this is a catastrophe. They've built their entire empire on farmers buying new equipment every few years. When that stops, the cash stops. And here's the part that changes everything. Lyle Yost and his leadership team realize they can't survive alone. The debt is mounting, the revenue is cratering. Bankruptcy is a real possibility. So they make a phone call. Not to John Deere, not to Case, not to anyone in America. They call Fiat, as in Fiat, the Italian car company. In 1977, Fiat's agricultural division, Fiat Trattori, buys a controlling interest in Hesston Corporation. Italian capital flows into the Kansas factory. Fiat starts importing their tractors under the Hesston brand name. And just like that, the most American company imaginable, born from Kansas dirt, built on hay and hard work, is controlled from Turin, Italy. Lyle Yost and the other founders, they retire, some lose their board seats. The company Lyle built from scratch at age 34 is no longer his. He would never control Hesston Corporation again. Let that sit for a moment. A Kansas farmer invents a revolutionary device, builds a company from 5 employees to thousands, turns a tiny town into a manufacturing powerhouse, and when the economy turns, the whole thing slips through his fingers to a European conglomerate. Now you might think, okay, Fiat took over, but at least the factory survived, right? Sort of. But the identity didn't. Through the 1980s, Fiat tightened its grip. In 1986, they installed their own executive, Mario Chessa, to run things. In 1987, Fiat bought the remaining shares. Hesston Corporation was now 100% Italian-owned. And then in 1990, the town of Hesston took another devastating blow, this one literal. On March 13th, an F5 tornado, winds between 261 and 318 miles per hour, ripped through the western sections of town. 226 homes damaged or destroyed, 21 businesses wrecked, 90 homes obliterated beyond repair. Checks from a Hesston supply store were found 85 miles away. A personal check carried 115 miles by the wind. The town rebuilt. It always did. But the Hesston Corporation that the town had known, that was already gone. In 1991, a brand new company called AGCO Corporation, barely a year old, purchased the hay tools and skid steer loader portions of the business. They formed a joint venture with Case IH and renamed the facility Hay and Forage Industries. The Hesston name became a brand within a brand within a brand. Today, AGCO still manufactures equipment in the Hesston plant. The factory has a 75-plus-year history of building farm equipment at the same Kansas location. You can still buy a Hesston by Massey Ferguson windrower or baler. But Hesston Corporation, the independent, founder-led company that Lyle Yost built, is gone. It didn't explode in some dramatic scandal. It didn't collapse overnight. It was absorbed, piece by piece, name change by name change, boardroom decision by boardroom decision, until one day the original identity simply wasn't there anymore. And that's almost worse than a dramatic failure, isn't it? Because nobody even noticed it happening. Here's where the story gets its redemption arc. Because despite everything, the takeovers, the tornado, the erasure of the company name, Hesston's legacy is everywhere. Hesston by Massey Ferguson holds more hay-related patents than any other manufacturer on Earth. The plant in Hesston, Kansas is AGCO's #1 facility in North America for implement and combine harvester manufacturing. In 2013, AGCO invested $45 million in a state-of-the-art paint facility at the same location where Lyle Yost once built unloading augers by hand. The belt buckles, still going. Every single year since 1974, a new Hesston NFR commemorative buckle is released. The tradition is now over 50 years old. Montana Silversmiths manufactures them. The PRCA still partners on the design. Collectors have paid serious money for complete sets. And Lyle Yost? He lived to be 99 years old. He saw his invention copied by every major manufacturer. He saw his company sold to Italians. He saw it sold again to Americans. He saw his town nearly destroyed by a tornado and then rebuilt. He was named Kansan of the Year. He was inducted into the Kansas Business Hall of Fame. And when the Yost family donated 40 years of Hesston Corporation archives to the Hesston Public Library in 2014, it was the only cohesive collection of the company's records known to exist. 40 years of internal newsletters, sales manuals, training documents, management ledgers, photos, awards, posters, and films, the entire memory of the corporation sitting in a small-town library. So what's the lesson here? Maybe it's that the companies that change the world don't always get to keep their names on the building. Maybe it's that innovation without financial moats gets devoured. Maybe it's that a 14-year-old kid digging machines out of the dirt can build something that outlasts him, even if the name fades. Or maybe the lesson is simpler than that. Every time a combine unloads grain on the move, in Kansas, in Brazil, in Australia, anywhere on Earth, that's Lyle Yost's invention. every self-propelled windrower cutting hay on the Great Plains is a descendant of the Hesston Model 100. Every NFR belt buckle on every cowboy's waist is a ghost of a little Kansas company that decided to sponsor a rodeo telecast. Hesston Corporation didn't vanish without leaving a trace. It vanished while leaving traces everywhere. You just have to know where to look, and now you do. If this story surprised you, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I make deep dives into the companies and people that shaped America but got written out of the story. And if you've got a Hesston belt buckle in a drawer somewhere, drop it in the comments. I want to see it.